for 2021. So let's proceed po to the question and answer. Actually, marami pong mga reactions dun sa ating Facebook Live. Marami pong nanonood. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat and thank you for staying tuned. And maraming nag-enjoy sa ating mga discussion ngayong umaga. There's this question po posted. Well, of course, apart from congratulating everyone, the question here is addressed to any one of you, kung sino po ang pwedeng sumagot. It says here, apart from this pandemic, what would possibly be your greatest challenge or one of your great challenges in terms of keeping the local people's strong faith and love for the Virgin Mary as part of the larger efforts we have been probably doing already? So ang second question dito, and I also received another question of the same in the same context on in the same on how are we protecting the material culture related to the church in general here in the province of Cavite. So dalawa po yung tanong. So yung siguro let's go to the first question here. Your challenges, greater challenges, especially during this pandemic in terms of keeping the local people's strong faith and love for the Virgin Mary. Siguro yun po muna yung unang tanong. Sino po kayang pwedeng sumagot sa ating tatlong speakers? Siguro si Father Veer.
Siguro ang isa sa mga malaking challenge talaga ay how we can go on promoting the devotion to Our Lady and how we can somehow help people to lessen their anxieties and fears during this time of pandemic. And I think the social media is a very potent way of trying to continue our work because it's so difficult nowadays to gather together as a community and personally because of the social distancing. And so perhaps, for example, like this presentation, if we can have more of this, perhaps we can somehow support our people who are staying in their homes to sustain their faith, to sustain their trust in God, and also to Our Lady.
Thank you very much, Father Veer. Yan po talaga ang kailangan natin ngayon. And this occasion is maybe not the only one that we have, but kasi this is this talk is encompassing. Hindi lang po siya spirituality, kundi malalim na pagpapaintindi kung saan tayo nagmumula o saan nagsisimula yung ating debosyon. And magandang pagkakataon po siya na palalimin pa. Siguro tama po yung sinabi natin kaninang umaga. Hindi to yung una. Ito lang po yung simula. So we'll look at this further as we proceed. Meron pa po gustong sumagot sa the same question sa ating pong tatlong speakers. Sir Gideon.
Hi ma'am, if I may add to what Father Veer said, I think that setting aside the pandemic, one of the greatest challenges among the devotees of Our Lady is the increasing secularization among people. I think we are now in an age wherein people tend to forget about God and tend to think that religion, spirituality is irrelevant. And I think that that is one of the challenges that we must overcome. And personally, speaking, there are a lot of people who would ask, bakit maraming titulo ang birhen? Ano ibig sabihin nga? Bakit ang dami-daming pagkakilala ng birhen? And it's very important for people like us who are devotees of the Virgin to explain why she has many titles. And ako, I would tell the one asking that think of it this way. The Virgin is one person, and yet she puts on many clothes depending on how the people need her. So for example, if you are facing a problem, she can put on the clothes of being the Dolorosa, wherein she would show you how to be resilient and to be brave. For example, when somebody is feeling like she's in a very dark place, she can put on being the Candelaria and be the light of that person. So I think that is one thing that that people like us have to do is to make the Virgin Mary relevant still relevant among people, especially the younger generations. So that would be my answer. And also, if you do that, if you are able to let people understand how they can love the Virgin, even in these very modern times, the preservation of the image, the maintenance of the image, and the continuity of the traditions would follow. So there. Thank you.
Tama, sir. I agree with you. And I actually support your statement, sir, when you said that the next generation should also understand and should be the ones po that we should, uh, tama ba, teach, diba? On how important this practice is and how important in maintaining the tradition of devotion to the Virgin Mary is when it comes to us becoming, to our spirituality in general. Tapos lahat follows after. Salamat, Sir Gideon. So, let's proceed to the next question. Yung kung isa kaninang um, pinost din na tanong. Sabi dito, so ano ko na lang po, i-contextualize ko yung question. I-rephrase ko na lang. In the context of material culture, so this is for the old churches such as the three of you. In the context of material culture, how is the church protecting its material heritage in the province of Cavite, or at least for the three churches that we have here in this forum today? Siguro unahin natin si Candelaria, si Philip. Being,
Hello.
Yes.
In the case of Silang, it's actually the very reason why we had it declared as a national cultural treasure is for us to be assisted by the national government and its agencies, its team of experts, to really take care of this very old church because the locality doesn't really have that technical expertise to assess and to repair what is necessary. So we need the collaboration of the church, the local government, and the national agencies to really protect this built heritage we have. And considering the age, the estimated age of 1629, it was built in 1640, it's already finished. It's who in our place can actually assess it correctly. So the tripartite cooperation of the church, the local government, and the national agencies are necessary to fulfill that duty to protect this built heritage. Kasi sayang kung mawawala ito at hindi na maipapasa sa susunod na henerasyon.
Maraming nawawala.
Maraming nawawala. So
Yes.
aside from government, we have private sectors cooperation like Filipinas Heritage Library, the Museum Foundation of the Philippines, to help us disseminate information about what we're losing over time. Kasi what we had during the exhibit of the 1981 inventory, parang 30% na lang yung natitira.
What happened to the rest?
Oo, what happened to
Diba?
the rest. So, yung ganong information to really empower the people na we need to protect this, diba? It's everyone's treasure. So when it was declared a national cultural treasure, ang fear nung iba sa gobyerno na raw. On the contrary, we share that to the whole nation. The church still owns it, being a church property. The faithful shares that heritage with the church, administering the property. But at the same time, being an NCT, we share it to the whole nation and we're proud of it. We're proud of the structure. We're proud of the retablos. And we have the assistance of everyone to take care of it.
And protect it.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Philip. Sa Portavaga po kaya, Father Dear? Another national cultural treasure.
Unang-una, the image herself has been secured and ito ay nakapaloob sa isang altar na pati ang temperature ay areglado. Although we have the constant help of the conservator, kasi in 2011, the image was restored. You know, there were already so many molds because of the century-old exposure to so many elements. And so it was restored by Maita Reyes, who is one of the living conservator in the Philippines. So we always have her assistance. So that's one way of preserving the image of Our Lady. But regarding other things, I think not only in San Roque, but in so many parishes, we have lost a lot of artifacts which would have been placed in our museums, whether diocesan or parochial museum.
Parochial.
So many priests of old were not that conscious regarding the importance of the old things. Some were just simply given away to friends. Many were stolen by people who are collecting antiques. And because there was no systematic way of protecting it, a lot have been lost. It's good that nowadays people are beginning to have consciousness about the importance of these cultural heritage things. No? Pero medyo late tayo dito sa Cavite. Ang dami nang nawala, ang dami nang nasayang. Plus the fact that sometimes it's also our fault, we priests, because we don't know how to appreciate heritage. No? Some of our priests would try to change mga altars, make it modern, forgetting that this heritage, old centuries old artifacts, they are also part of the soul of other people. I remember when the Church of San Roque was destroyed, and they built a new one. For me, I felt that a part of me was lost. Kasi ano yan eh, yung heritage natin kasi. So it is sad. Cavite is just beginning to be conscious about cultural heritage. And thanks God that there are young people like Philip Medina, who is so conscious about the heritage of Silang. I hope all parishes will have such kind of people who will really try their best to preserve the heritage of their parish.
Thank you, Father. You have Odi de la Cruz with you. another young passionate person working so hard for the preservation of the Porta Valle heritage. So hello, Odi. And many more others, Father. So siguro, ito na rin siguro yung isa sa mga appeal ni Father Veer, for the younger generations to be involved and to actively participate. Kasi sabi nga, ako po, Father, hindi pa po ako kasama sa generation niyo. Magkasama pa po kami ni Philip. pero our appeal really is the same, that for the young generation to recognize that that the efforts that we're exerting today on the aspect of cultural heritage preservation, which includes our churches, are not for us who are here today, but for them, for the next generation of Filipinos and the next generations to come. So lagi nating sinasabi, we need to be rooted and we need to know who we are. And the only way to do that is to find evidences on our being. Kaya mahalaga po yung ating tangible cultural heritage, which includes material culture from the church. So sana po natin yan, mai-promote at mai-propagate pa further. And sana mas maraming kabataan. Yes, Father.
Sana ma-organize natin yan. Hindi lang maging parang individual effort
yes.
in different parishes, but sana ma-organize as a group that will be responsible in preserving the cultural heritage of the entire province.
Yes, Father. Sige po. Parang biglang, sige po.
Napakaganda niyan. Pagtulungan natin with Father Veer and Miss Cecil to gather the youth. Diba?
Sige po, Father. We are being, ayan na po, nag-message na sila. Inaantay ko lang sila magparamdam. So together with us is the Cavite Provincial Tourism Office, who actually is in charge on a provincial scale of activities such as this. And they also have initiatives related to this. And I'm sure they are taking down notes. And then they said here, the Provincial Tourism and Cultural Affairs Office will work hand in hand on preserving and promoting local cultural heritage in Cavite. Ayan na, Father Veer. nagsisimula na tayo. So, we'll see where we will proceed after this. And tignan natin, mag-uusap-usap siguro tayo because we need the youth and the next generation po to be engaged and to be involved. Yun po talaga ang ating adhikain sa pagkakaroon ng mga ganitong okasyon at gawain. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Philip and Sir Gideon. Meron po ata tayong mga questions po. May isa po ditong question na siguro last question for the day, unless meron pang ihahabol. Sabi po dito, I think para ito dun sa for the general public, lalo na po dito sa Cavite, marami ng layo. So kasi kagaya ako po isa sa mga yun. Diba? Parang dito na lang tumira sa Cavite. Pero ang sinasabi dito, paano natatranslate ang devotion to the Virgin Mary or its impact or influence on the day-to-day lives of the Caviteños? In your observation, is it observable in the daily lives of the people or in your locality with regard to devotion to the, say, Puerto Vaga, Silang, and Candelaria, and then Del Pilar? Medyo vague po ba yung malawak yung tanong, pero siguro po yun, on a day-to-day. Lalo na rin po siguro taking into consideration also the migrants, the new residents of the province, who are not yet very much familiar with these devotions that we have. Kasi most of the people who would attend the festivities are locals talaga. So how do we answer this in that context?
Well, Ma'am Cecil.
Yes, Father.
Halimbawa siguro, no, one of the things that we can do is to try to introduce to them the devotion by example. Kasi for example, dito sa Tansa, no, our great devotion is to Saint Augustine. Ang dami-dami na ngayon dayo dito. No? But because they see how devoted people are, the people of Tansa, they're beginning to be affected. Eventually, sila nagiging devoted na rin sa Agustin. No? So, with so many stories and the example, the image that people show that they themselves are really devotees, no? Nakakaakit yun. No? So, plus yung many stories of favors gained, no? And it's transferred from mouth to mouth, how they got favors, and then people would try, and then they would also get favors, and then they will spread. No? Kaya dito sa Tansa, wala kaming masyadong fear na baka kumupas ang devosyon kasi imbis na maapektuhan ng mga migrants, yung mga taal na taga rito, yung mga taga rito nakaka-apekto sa mga migrants. Then, for example, yung Virgen de la Soledad sa Cavite, no? Marami sa mga Caviteños are no longer in Cavite.
Yes,
most of
maraming...
the people in Cavite City are migrants. No? So, doon medyo nagkakaproblema kasi yung dapat ay magpakita ng devosyon, kakaunti na. Kasi most of them have gone out of Cavite. No? Pero ang maganda ay, siguro yung mga migrants doon na hindi ganun ka-aware, pero the awareness has become very wide outside of Cavite. So you will find devotees from different provinces, from different towns. No? And siguro, yun pa rin ang na sana yung mismong mga taga-lugar ay magpakita ng ganong demosyon at ipagpatuloy yung mga tradisyon. So ito rin siguro isang palaala sa aming mga pare. I'm sorry to say this, pero marami kasi mga pare, sinisira yung mga local tradition ng mga tao. At ang laging kinakatwiran, unliturgical. Devotions are never liturgical. And siguro kung kinakailangan i-re-educate ang mga tao, i-re-educate. Pero wag patayin ang devotion. Kasi pag pinatay nila yung mga traditions, no, pati yung devotion mag-wane. Then eventually, wala na. Ang mangyayari, ang mga tao, maapektuhan na ng mga migrants. Imbes na yung mga Taal na taga Cavite ang makaapekto sa mga migrants. So, this is a reminder for my fellow priests. No? We should respect the traditions of our people. Kasi ang nangyayari, paglipat-lipat namin, kung ano yung gusto namin, ini-impose namin sa mga tao. Even when it goes against their tradition. Kaya, in a way, malaki rin ang aming kakulangan bilang mga tao. Kasi kami mismo, we do not know how to respect the traditions of our people. I hope we will do that.
And traditions of the place, Father.
Yeah.
Yes, kasi 'di ba sa atin po kasi mahalaga yung ulitin ko yung rootedness, yung pinagmulan. 'Di ba? So traditions of the place at sa ating mga Pilipino, yung traditions of the place natin. Medyo malalim po yung anchorage nun sa simbahan.
Totoo.
Yun kasi napakalalim po ng ating kasaysayan na may kinalaman sa simbahan. Remember, we're celebrating quincentennial this year. That's 500 years. And 300 plus years of that would be related to the church. So, like it or not, we are a culture that is very unique and very rich. And rootedness is part of that. And whatever traditions we have in the place is really important into recognizing the totality of our being and our culture for that matter. Thank you, Father. Philip, you'd like to say something?
Sa silang naman, buhay yung aspeto na yung mga tao gusto nilang magpabinyag pag tuwing kapistahan ng silang. Kaya pag dadating ang fiesta, grabe talaga yung bulto ng binibinyagan. Yung iba, iniintay. Hindi agad nagpapabinyag yung ibang bata. Meron pa nga konsepto sa silang yung sinasabing buhos tubig. Yung cross kasi ng folk and Catholic practice, medyo intense pa sa Upland, Cavite. So parang while waiting for that very special event of baptism in time for the Fiesta of Silang, yung ibang mga bata na pinanganak ng mga Oktubre, Nobyembre, meron tinatawag kang buhos tubig. Binubuhusan lang nila some sort of protection or guidance until mabinyagan sila pagdating ng kapistahan. So may mga ganong aspeto sa mga locals. When it comes to the migrants, oo, dumadami na rin sa silang yung mga hindi talaga local. Pero ang silang is composed of so many parishes. So yun ay challenge sa ibang parokya na nasa sa silang. Kasi yung mismong nasa bayan, which is I think composed of 14 barangays, is actually the old town and the nearest barangay is near the town. So yung sa migrants, hindi pa ganun kalaki ang problema kasi halos magkakakilala pa rin naman yung mga tao dito sa parokya kasi sa ibang lugar ng silang yon mas marami ang migrants. And I think ang silang ay nasa 5 na yata ang parokya kasi lumalaki ang kanyang populasyon. At may ipapanganak pang isa. May iniintay pang isa. Di po ba, Father Veer? Doon sa ginawa ni Father Veer na parang family tree. Thank you very much, Father Veer. Doon sa ginawa mo family tree ng Silang Church. Kita mo doon kung gaano yumabong ang dami-daming parokya. So,
thank you, Philip. Sir Gideon, would you like to say something?
Siguro very short lang po. The question is parang how do we make it more relevant lalo sa mga migrants and to people who don't understand. So I think, as I said earlier, it's important for us to communicate with them. For example, may certain tradition. It is important for us to explain why this is being done. Kasi to an outsider, pag meron siya nakitang tradition or practice, if he doesn't understand it, then he would have a hard time also parang having that devotion. So we should be responsible in explaining everything to them and in explaining why it is relevant and it is significant. And also siguro when I think about it, your question about migrants, specifically about the Virgin Mary, siguro we can remind migrants of a certain town that in her life, once in her life, or maybe a few times in her life, the Virgin Mary also became a migrant technically. Kasi she's a woman from Nazareth and then she fled to Egypt. And then in her later life, she went to Ephesus. So it is very important nga to make people understand that even though the Blessed Mother lived many years back, that she is still relevant and her story is still relevant even up to these days. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Gideon. Tamang-tama po yan, especially for, dito kasi sa Cavite, yung tawag natin, mga dayo, mga ganyan. So, pero collectively, we're all Caviteños na by affinity, by birth, di ba? Politically, we're all Caviteños in that context. So, sama-sama tayo sa pagtuklas kung ano ba talaga tayo as a people. And we're grateful for opportunities such as this to be able to discuss, to exchange ideas, to be enlightened by each other. So, meron po tayong mga dito. Some people would like to share their thoughts do sa mga questions natin. Like, paano pa, yung devotion to the Virgin Mary, paano pa natin ito palalawakin? Some said, by sustained praying during the Holy Rosary. I think this is in the context of the pandemic na hindi natin magawa yung mga nakasanayan nating tradition or practices related to the devotion. So sustained praying of the Holy Rosary, may mga virtual fiestas na rin ngayon. May is actually fiesta month. We know that very well. So ngayon may mga nag-organize po ng mga virtual fiestas na very limited yung group, tapos naka-post po online ang mga festivities. Meron ng ganyan. And meron din pong, hindi po ako aware kung meron na po bang virtual Flores de Mayo na ginagawa dito sa atin sa Cavite. Of course, we have the daily devotions and of Novena and Holy Masses, and mga Bible readings organized by some organizations and some groups too. So, yun po yung mga naging ideas or suggestions nila in relation to the context of the pandemic. At hindi naman po napipigil ng pandemya or mapipigil ng pandemya ang devotion na to. In fact, di ba marami na tayong realization na in fact, yung pandemya, pinalakas pa niya lalo yung ating faith. Because at the end of the day, yun lang talaga ang yun para talaga ang kailangan natin. So lahat tayo going back again to what really matters. At parang going back to our roots. Ganyan. So marami pong salamat. Father Veer, Philip, would you like to leave a message, last message before we close this webinar entirely?
Siyempre, maraming salamat Ms. Cecil sa pag-iimbita sa amin dito sa panayam na ito. And kasama ng ibang mga speakers, thank you rin sa isang napakagandang exchange meron tayo ngayon. And tama na hindi dapat natatapos dito sa usaping ito ang ating panayam. Napakaganda noong nabanggit na plano na ni Father Veer na sana ay meron ring mga iba-iba sa iba-ibang parokya, magkaroon ng mga iba-ibang grupo, lalong-lalo na sa particular mula sa kabataan, na mabuo para makapag-usap-usap at mabantayan natin ang ating pamanang bayan. So, yun, maaasahan nyo uli ako doon para tulungan kayo, and I really look forward na para sa Cavite, para sa mga simbahan dito sa Cavite, para sa ating kalinangan ay magawa natin yun. So, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. Philip. Sir Gideon.
Siyempre po, nagpapasalamat po tayo sa opportunity na to. And as I said earlier, it is wonderful that despite the pandemic, despite the restrictions brought about by the situation, we are still able to do this and to exchange knowledge and exchange ideas about how we could propagate the devotion further and how we could ensure that even after we are long gone, mabubuhay pa rin yung devotion natin sa Mahal na Birhen. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po.
Father Veer.
Maraming salamat sa pagkakataon na ito upang sa kayo na maibahagi namin ang aming mga kaalaman tungkol sa mga debosyon natin sa Mahal na Birhen. At sabi ko nga kanina, sana ito ay maging pasimula ng isang mas malawakang pagkilos para sa pag-preserve ng ating culture, ng ating heritage, ng ating history. Kasi Cavite is a very historical province.
Yes.
Napakayaman natin sa kasaysayan. But very few people write about Cavite. In fact, mas nananaig na yung mga paninira laban sa Cavite. No? ang dami-dami mga issues na ibinabato sa Cavite na wala namang sumasagot, wala namang nagsisikap na magpaliwanag, no? Para sa gayon ay we can write straight what history really is. No? Tapos yung ating cultural heritage, wala pa rin kasi tayo talagang organized kahit sa diocese, kahit sa province, na talagang tututok sa ating Caviteño heritage. How I wish we could have that kasi napakayaman natin sa lahat ng larangan, whether history, arts, whether it be food, whether it be yung mga performance and so on. At the moment, I'm trying to collect lahat ng mga notables ng Cavite. No? Artista, politiko, mga painters, mga poets, and so on. No? Hindi lang sa Cavite City, kundi sa iba't ibang lugar. No? Kasi somehow this might create interest for our younger generation na talagang itaguyod yung ating kultura, yung ating heritage, yung ating kasaysayan. So sana ay ito ay maging pasimula at magtuloy-tuloy para sa gayon ay maipakita natin what really Cavite is. It doesn't matter kung tayo mga taal na Caviteño o hindi. Ang mahalaga ay we have this love for Cavite.
Salamat ng marami, Father Vir. Thank you very much, Father Vir, for that wonderful message. And totoo po yung sinasabi ni Father Vir. Hindi ito usaping sino ka o taga saan ka, kundi ito ay usapin na kabuuan na kung anong may contribute at may tutulong ng bawat isa. Shout out sa mga taga Provincial Tourism and Cultural Affairs Office kasi kailangan natin ng kanilang tulong logistically and on many things para po magkaroon po ng realization yung ating mga pangarap para sa Cavite in the aspect of sustainable heritage, preservation, and development at the same time. So to allow me to share my little thoughts after all the three sharings po. So I was taking down notes as the three of the reverend speakers are giving their talks today. And but noticeable po of the commonalities of Saturday devotions, Dalaw Patrona, and the very unique Caracol practice pagdating po sa mga fiesta. And there are also localized symbolisms on iconography and miracles performed by these three representations of the Virgin Mary devotions. And we all look forward to gathering again. Si Father Vir nga even highlighted that in Puerto Vaga, merong epidemic. And then after the epidemic, feast for gratitude was held. And we look forward to having that again. And I know it will come very, very soon. We keep the faith. Ang naiisip ko as the three of you were talking, personal or not, ang realization ko po, I share the sentiments of Sir Gideon actually, when he said that yung Birhen, she really wants to be close to us as much as she can. And she probably, like what Sir Gideon said, would wear different cloaks depending on how much we need her. That's her varying representations. And lalapit talaga siya at lalapit. Kasi yun yung gusto niya at yun yung dapat. At alam niya kailangan natin siya. So kahit pa yan sa coastal, kahit pa yan sa midland, kahit pa yan sa upland, regardless kahit saan yan sa Cavite, ang Birhen ang mananatiling patroness of the province of Cavite in her totality. Kahit saan pa yan, pupuntahan niya tayo. So yun, lalo na ngayon sa mga panahon, lalo na ngayong panahon ng pandemya na maraming kalungkutan, solitude, dadalawin niya tayo, sigurado yan. So salamat po sa inyong tatlo, magandang hapon, and allow us to award you the certificate of appreciation. Dadalaw po ako sa inyo one of these days, sa inyong tatlo, personally. So meantime, we're giving you this virtual certificate of appreciation, which reads, their certificate is awarded to, in recognition and appreciation for his invaluable support as a speaker, of the talk or webinar entitled Madre de Dios, Virgin Mary in the Christianization of Cavite, in celebration of Marian Month, National Heritage Month, and Quincentennial celebration. Given this 12th day of May 2021, organized by the Museo de la Salle, University das Marinas, in partnership with the Diocesanong Dambana at Parokya ng Nuestra Señora de Candelaria ng Silang, Nuestra Señora del Pilar, Patroness of the Diocese of Imus, and de la Virgen de la Soledad de Portabaga, the Queen and Patroness of the Province of Cavite. Signed by yours truly and Dr. Mirna F. Ramos. Marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat at simula pa lang po ito. Magkikita pa po tayo ulit sa mga susunod. Magandang hapon po.